All right, welcome in post-game edition Guerilla Sports Off Ice. Breaking down that 3-1 loss for the Colorado Avalanche in Vancouver. And this episode is brought to you guys by Trusted American Mortgage. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payment. Go to trustedamerican.com to see how much money they can save you today. Hello and welcome in.
Do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show. All right, welcome in. Avs dropped this one 3-1 to the Vancouver Canucks in what was a little bit of a disappointing performance, no doubt about it. Thank you guys for sticking with us. I know it's late night, already past 11 o'clock here in Denver. I'm Jesse Montano. This dirtbag next to me is Meghan Angley. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
He hit me.
No, stop again. She did it again. Oh my gosh. Oh, and that one came at a bad time. That one came that was a rough look for me there after calling you a dirtbag. Megan, in all seriousness, we're just trying. It's like I said, it's already 11 p.m. That was a crazy boring game. Not a lot of what you wanted to see.
No.
But hey, at the end of the day, all that matters is that I was right when I said that Val was going to get a goal.
Did it feel good?
It felt better. At the very end of what we just watched, it helped. All jokes aside, Megan, from that first period on, we said we wanted to see them getting incrementally better, the compete level go up. We both acknowledged, hey, look, we know this isn't going to be perfect. Guys are not feeling well. Just no two ways about it. This was not a good game tonight for the Avalanche.
No, it has a similar feel to the Carolina game where there were bursts of effort, kind of similarly in the very end, where it's like, oh, if you had played like that the whole time, this would probably have been a very different game. It's relatively low event and pretty evenly matched just analytically and otherwise, but it still feels frustrating to see some of the chances they came up with in the third period late. You wished you'd seen more of that earlier on. They eliminate mistakes gradually, period by period, but it still was too much early on. And you then key in hindsight on how that first goal against goes in, and you feel a little frustration like, all right, I look at basically everybody on the ice except for Chris Wagner on that play, like overcommitted, overskated, out-muscled, just a lot of mistakes from everybody on the ice, except for Mackenzie Blackwood. You know, he's doing what he can to deny the initial Heinen chance, and they're just not defending their net front very well.
Did you say Heinen or high end?
Heinen.
What's the difference, right?
Oh,
I got you.
That's good.
Sorry. I interrupted you for a throwaway joke that I knew you'd like.
Well, we don't need to dwell on this goal against because it's bad. And there's a lot of mistakes that could have prevented it from happening. So it's a frustrating one then in hindsight to see. In the beginning, you kind of could write it off like, okay, it's one goal.
Yeah.
They'll get back in this. They almost didn't. They were almost shut out. So.
Yeah. I want to talk about Mackenzie Blackwood here in a little bit because, again, I thought it was a second good game in a row for him, and given that we've only seen him twice, you'll take that conversion rate there so far. But I'm with you. There were a lot of things, Megan, that they needed to do better. How much of this are you chalking up to the fact that we heard a couple days ago that a lot of guys weren't feeling well, and you can probably assume that they felt even worse today? How much are you chalking up to that, and how much are you going to hold them accountable on this that, hey, it's got to be better than whatever that just was?
Well, it's exactly that. Okay, you don't win this one. Don't you have to win in San Jose? I'm going to say and Anaheim.
Yep.
Those are two weaker teams with a lot of vulnerabilities that you now need to capitalize on with a couple days rest in between. That's what makes it a little more challenging. I might have, if they had won tonight, given them some grace on the back-to-back. Now they've lost my sympathies. I'm applying the sympathies here. They're losing it for the back-to-back.
I mean, look, you had such a good road trip last week. Come home, you followed up with maybe not necessarily home games that you love, but ones that you find at least in some of them, ways to get the results in. The goaltenders are supposed to be the steadying presence to stop the up and down roller coaster. Thus far, for my money, Scott Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood have done their jobs on that. And now it's on the rest of the team to carry it the rest of the way. I'm not going to absolutely grill them tonight. I think back to something Josh Manson told us during the 2022 Cup run. There's some mornings that you wake up and it's a 5-minute mile. And there's some mornings you wake up and it's 10. Granted, we all made sure to make clear to him, yeah, there's no 5-minute mile people around here. So that's maybe more like, some days you wake up and it's 10, other days it's 15 to 20. That's maybe like more of a regular human thing. But to me, today was a 15-minute mile day for the Avs. They just didn't have it, and it seemed like nothing they could do was pulling them into it.
No, it came about a little bit late, but I'm not sure I could realistically have asked them to do that for a full 40 because I think there's a reason it came about so late. I think that they were emptying their tanks and they entered the game empty. Yeah,
I think that's a good way of putting it. I am sorry. I'm going to make you talk about Kiefer Sherwood a little bit. We'll talk about, let's get into that. What he did well, what I think kind of separated Kiefer Sherwood in particular, his night, from not only the Avs, but from the rest of the Canucks, because I think, as you pointed out, they weren't perfect either tonight. And just little bits of difference are what brought us to the result that we got. I do want to tell you guys, though, that this segment is brought to you by our good friends over at Landmark Lincoln and the all-new 2024 Lincoln Corsair GT plug-in hybrid. Head on over to landmarklincoln.com to check out the latest offers and incentives, including incredible tax incentives on the all-new Corsair GT plug-in hybrids. Go to landmarklincoln.com or stop into the #1 Lincoln dealer in Colorado to see if you qualify for no payments for up to 90 days. Again, that's landmarklincoln.com, or stop in at the corner of Broadway and Bellevue today and see why they've been Colorado's trusted Lincoln dealer since 1911. Show's also brought to you by 7 Brew Coffee. 7 Brew is a one-of-a-kind drive-through and walk-up experience with a fast and friendly crew that is waiting to serve you. Today was the grand opening of their newest location up in Firestone, Colorado. We got a chance to go get a sneak peek of it over the weekend. It was friends and family weekend, and we got to go up there, chat with the great folks up there. It's awesome. The drinks are delicious. You guys know me. I'm not a huge coffee guy. I found 2 separate coffee drinks up there that I liked. They got the energy drinks that our boss, Blake, had. Said he's not normally an energy drink guy. Like, he drinks, he'll have the occasional energy drink to pick him up. But like most people, he doesn't like the taste. They're delicious up there. With rich, bold coffee, refreshing energy drinks, smoothies, teas, and more. 7 Brew has you covered. Over 20,000 flavor combinations. There's a perfect drink for everyone. Before you hit the road, power up with 7 Brew in Firestone and experience the coffee revolution. And as we mentioned earlier, Megan and I will be there this Saturday at noon doing a podcast on site. Then we're going to continue on to the Eagles game that evening up in Loveland. So it's going to be a blast. We'd love to see you. Come hang out. Come chat with us on the show. Give your thoughts on the Avs. And we just love to see you up at 7 Brew up in Firestone. Kiefer Sherwood, Megan, completes the hat trick. He's the only goal scorer tonight, and he did not look to me like he was feeling under the weather. The compete level was there. You could see that his legs were moving. The motor was on, and he was winning battles. He scored all of those goals, just winning battles and getting to pucks first.
I'm just trying to see where he ranks in the league now with 11 goals on the year.
11 goals for Kiefer Sherwood. 11 goals for Kiefer Sherwood. This isn't just the Avs who didn't bring him back. He was in Nashville last year, and they didn't keep him around. So it's not like the Avs are the team that completely missed this. But how old is Kiefer Sherwood now?
29.
20. How could the Avs not have predicted this kid would break out at 29, huh?
It's not anybody's fault because, he even moves then to the national organization. And has up and down results. They utilized him more in an NHL role than Colorado was able to, but even still, it's been a different sort of path to getting there. And I think the difference maker, at least in the game I see tonight, is the shooting. It's not only better, but in higher volume, because he was a volume shooter in the American League and it rewarded him there, but he had trouble getting it to translate at the next level. I think he's figured it out quite a bit better. I mean, even just the empty net goal, like we see those pucks go wide all the time, but he gets it into the empty net to complete the hat trick. And that's where I'm looking at, Mackenzie Blackwood, the expected goals against finished 2.67. That third obviously doesn't count against him.
Yep.
And so it's still a night where goaltending gave you above expected.
Mm-hmm.
And you look on the opposite side of it too, on Thatcher Demko's side, and the expected goals against for him was above 3. And so that's where you feel a little bit disappointed with some of what the Avs created late. That probably helped to jump that number up a bit. And also I talked about cheating the game, but I think this is one where the eye test is a little more significant than the analytics to come out of this game, because in measuring the danger of these chances, I don't think there's quality A or grade A as maybe the analytics might have thought.
Might have suggested. Yeah, I'm with you. I do think this is one. And look, there's people in the chat saying that making excuses for the team. No, it's just that's what it was. They didn't have the effort tonight. They didn't have the legs. That's not an excuse. That's what happened. The effort just wasn't there. We kept saying, you got to dig deeper. You got to find a way. They couldn't get it there to that level. There was clearly a disconnect tonight. Could not get their game to the next level to match what Kiefer Sherwood did. Again, you look at all 3 of those goals. Wins a battle in front. Picks off a play on a zone entry. And then just outraces everybody to break loose on the breakaway. And then even along the wall for that empty netter, finds a way to be the beneficiary of a battle board battle that was won. And again, just gets into open space and capitalizes. The Avs just couldn't find that tonight. Whatever it was, whether it was the illness, a lack of effort, which you know me, I'm not going to say that they're not trying out there. Whatever it was, the Avs couldn't find that level that they needed, and it cost them tonight. Val Nichushkin gets one to go late to save them from being shut out. I think they did have some chances in the third period. I think there was a couple of times in this game where Thatcher Demko had to come up big. Yeah, maybe you get one of those to squeak through and you're right back in it. But as you and I discussed in the pregame, you make your bounces. Avs didn't earn any bounces tonight.
Well, and I think some of their best chances came in the third period, and that's where it feels similar to the Carolina game in being too little too late, because I thought McKinnon had at least 2 good chances that spring to mind in the third period. A little bit earlier, Lehkonen with a chance a little bit later. Obviously, Val Nichushkin capitalizes on a chance late, and that's where the Avs come ahead in the shots battle in the end when they were sort of trailing before that and close, though. That's where it does fall short because the effort came too late, and chasing the game, it's challenging. They can sometimes be a team that is motivated by that, but if they're already dealing with an engagement exhaustion issue, chasing games is not good for this team.
Yeah. You know, Jared Bednar talks about other teams have a say in these outcomes as well. You give Vancouver a lot of credit. They were being talked about as a team that's sick. You know, Rick Tocchet said earlier this week, last week, that he felt that they had guys who maybe weren't emotionally engaged. You give them credit. I thought they came out with a lot of jump. We talked in that first intermission that, first shift of this game, the Canucks came out, jumped all over the Avs, kind of made a statement early. Blackwood has to come up with a couple big saves just for the Avs to stay in it at 0-0. They made a point to come out and jump on the gas early. Now the Avs have to respond with that going forward. Like you said, you can't be chasing games. And it almost seemed to me in that first period like the Avs were a little bit caught off guard by the level of intensity that the Vancouver Canucks came out with.
I think they could have survived the 1 goal against, too, coming out of the first period, if not for the fatal shorthanded goal against. Like, they survived the penalties that are just a little frustrating. You kind of understand why they happen, but you also wish, I don't know what you're giggling. I can't.
I know. I'm sorry. I know. I'm really excited. finish this thought. And then
it felt like coming out of the first period, there was still a chance, but the shorthanded goal, because of a power play that has already been struggling, it's like that power play allowing the shorthanded goal sucks. It's also that they can't convert on the power play.
Yeah.
It didn't benefit them in any way. It couldn't add some goal support in any way. That is added frustration there then too, that it's not only not helping them by providing goal support, but it's hurting them actively.
Well, and you and I talked in, I can't remember which intermission it was, about, hey, use the power play to build some momentum. Even if you don't score a goal, use the power play to build some momentum, get some offensive puck touches. So to your point, for that not only for that not to happen, but for it to actively go the other way on them, that it felt like that took a lot of wind out of their sails.
I think so, because even before on the PK, they tried to draw momentum from the shorthanded chance with Parker Kelly and Logan O'Connor, but there's only so much that a team that's not feeling so great can do. I need you to read
I know, I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold it together, but it's just super chat from Vaguely Sober says, Jesse, stop hitting Megan. Megan, stop being a dirtbag. Do not make me turn this car around. Oh God.
Don't make me turn this car around.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I couldn't even let you finish making your point. Because every time I tried to just sit here like a professional, I started laughing.
My parents on road trips had this red light system with Velcro and a chart and little cars, and we would move red, yellow, green depending on our behavior. And one of my siblings was in red in the driveway before we even get out on the road. And this just reminds me of that. We'd both be in the red right now.
We're in the red. But so are the Avs tonight, and the shorthanded goal against, to the point that you were making before I interrupted you with my laughter. It just doesn't help. And if anything, it has maybe the opposite effect that you're looking for out of a man advantage.
Yes, I think it points to the greater trouble with the team tonight, too. Like, they should have an advantage on the power play, and it is hurting them. That's just how bad off things were for them tonight. And I think some of their steadiest play came from the third line. Some of the most engaged or hardworking play came from the fourth line. Some of the greatest chances came from inside the top six, but late in the game.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel a little bit of sadness around it, but I'm willing to chalk it up to them not feeling well.
Yeah.
But it only means the pressure gets greater than going into the back-to-back.
Now you can't, like we talked about earlier, you can't allow for the Georgiev revenge game. You can't have that happen anymore. A win tonight would have allowed you to stumble somewhere on this back-to-back. You got to be perfect now. Did forget to just shout out, big thank you to Vaguely Sober, always a great supporter in the chat. And this one got genuine LOLs out of us. Nate hasn't gone Super Saiyan or gotten pissed the level and leveled anyone lately. I figured that JT Miller hit would have unlocked something. So I do disagree a little bit that he hasn't like kind of popped off, because he's been very good lately. He's had a couple of games where he's kind of taken over, 5-point night recently. But I do agree with the last part of this. I also, when I saw that JT Miller hit, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Leading me to believe that Nathan MacKinnon may be one of the guys who's not feeling well tonight. Because you and I mentioned that. There was a couple moments where you just expected him to really shift gears, and he just like did not look like he had it.
Well, even, the shorthanded goal against, I maybe thought he'd be a little stronger in protecting the puck there. It seemed to come off his stick a little more easily than I would have expected. He's a powerful player, so the JT Miller hit also stands out a bit. Mm-hmm. Another powerful player too, but for him to have been knocked down that easily does seem like perhaps he's not quite at 100%. And I did see frustration on his face in the third period. Yeah. He had a wrister, I think, go off the crossbar.
Yeah.
And that's where I saw most of Nate in a good way in the third period. But again, just a little too late.
Yeah.
But I don't mind seeing the frustration on his face.
No.
It shows that he cares. And that's what I wanted to see out of this game. I was looking at the score. They're down 2 going in. I don't know what I'm pointing at. The score.
No, I'm sorry.
Into the second period, coming out of it at least. And I'm thinking to myself, I probably would have felt better even if they were down by 2, just in a different fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to see a little more care. So I'm glad they break the shutout. At least that would have made it feel a lot worse. And I'm glad to see the care of a McKinnon pushing for chances, Lehkonen pushing for chances. But I needed to see a little more of it.
We're going to start to wind things down. Talking about Mackenzie Blackwood and the night that he had, because again, I thought he was good. This was not a night that you could point at the goaltending. And we're going to get into a little bit of those numbers that you were just talking about, how this night went better than expected per the analytics. In net, do want to remind you guys about our great partners at Trusted American, as we are here in the Guerilla Sports Studios, powered by Trusted American Mortgage. How would you like to get through the holidays without having to make your mortgage payment? Well, go to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you refinance your home and not have to make any payments until February. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payments. And right now, Megan, they will cover the cost of your home's appraisal. That's up to a $650 value. That's already money that you could use on more gifts for the holidays right there. Go to trustedamerican.com or scan that QR code up there in the top corner of your screen to see how much money they can save you today. As I've told you guys before, the best way to support us is by supporting our wonderful partners. Trusted American, 7 Brew, Landmark Lincoln. Check them all out today. Let's wind this conversation down on what was a relatively uneventful late night game, Megan, with Mackenzie Blackwood. I thought he stood tall again. I'm with you. I'm not overly upset about any of those goals. Sure, you'd like him to find that one in his feet a little bit quicker on the first goal. There was about 5 guys that couldn't find it. I don't have any issues with Mackenzie Blackwood tonight.
No, there's so much that breaks down on that play in advance of that, and including this net front chance from Heinen that leaves the puck in the crease for Kiefer Sherwood to find that Mackenzie Blackwood does stop. It's his teammates in front of him that are supposed to clear that puck away that struggled to do so and didn't defend the net very hard there. A lot of mistakes. So I don't feel badly about Mackenzie Blackwood his night at all, and I didn't get to see live the Nashville game, but I feel really good about what I've seen now through 2 showings.
Well, and look, Jared Bednar just talked about, I don't remember the exact figure off the top of my head, but a large percentage of their games that they've lost this year have come when they've given up 4 or more goals.
It's now 3.
Is that what we're down to now? Or is that like what we're working towards? Well, just like point being that like there were way too many results earlier in the season where they were giving up 4, 5, 6 goals. Tampa Bay, 8 goals. Take away the empty netter. 2. Mackenzie Blackwood gave up. You were in this game absolutely on a night where your goalie gives up 2. You should feel pretty good about the chance you've got in that game.
It's a huge difference maker. And that's why the Avs have been supported. It doesn't feel this way, but they've been supported by goal scoring throughout this year as a team that's among the higher of teams in providing goals. That should be better and should get better. I think that there has been some promising developments at 5v5 as of late. They need to figure out the power play. It's usually a strength of this team and the kind of secret weapon that helps to improve the overall goals for. That's what's been struggling. Corey Massasak has a crazy stat that Avs are 5 for 48 on the power play in the past 18 games and have allowed 2 shorthanded goals. It just needs to be better.
Yeah.
It's that simple, whatever it takes.
Well, and what's hard about the power play, Megan, so it's been a tale of 2 different seasons this year.
Yeah, it's been great at points in the top 3 in the league.
And then it really struggles for the last
18 games.
18 games, which what was tonight, 36?
I'm not sure.
Game number.
Wow, we're flying through the season almost
unbelievable.
halfway.
We are almost halfway. Someone said to me earlier, I'm sorry, tonight was 33. I'm a little short. But so someone said to me today, they're like, man, the Avs still in the first third of their season. I was like, yeah, but just barely. Like we're about to break into the halfway mark. So, I mean, literally, it's almost been an exact split. First half of this season, elite, clicking it over 40%. Since then, they've almost given up as many shorthand goals as they've scored. Not great, Bob.
No, that's actually, he finished the tweet with "not great, Bob."
Oh my God!
I'm
Seriously?
not kidding.
Oh,
Yeah,
Corey.
I'm not
My
kidding.
guy, love Corey.
No, Corey's great, and that's a grim stat line that
Mhm.
obviously they're better than, because they've been better than that inside this season. And they've done that when this team has been more depleted and struggling worse. And so that's why there isn't really an excuse for it right now. It's just not working. Special teams ebb and flow. I definitely understand that. But if it's actively hurting them, that's when you need improvement.
This feels a little bit worse than ebb and flow. Right
Definitely.
now.
They're in a little bit of a rut on the power play.
Oh, dang, there was something I was going to say relative to what you were just mentioning there. Need to be better on the power play. Oh, I was just going to say, I really do think that with everything that's gone on with this team in the first half of the season here, they need the Christmas break. You need to get to, now, again, these next 3 games, you need these next 3 games. You've got to find a way to battle through and pull points out of these next 3 games. But I do think 4.5-ish days off for this group is going to do them a lot of good.
I'm so ADHD too. My brain is thinking back to now the point of Kiefer Sherwood scored all 3 goals for Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
They probably don't feel great about that either.
Yeah.
And on the opposite side of that, Colorado should feel kind of good. No Elias Pettersson, no Quinn Hughes, no JT Miller. It's just Kiefer Sherwood.
Yeah.
So, because as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about how the Avs do still want to see depth scoring step up too, in addition, because there are nights where, Mikko Rantanen has a hat trick and 5 points, and Nathan McKinnon has 5 points, but teams need to have their Kiefer Sherwoods also have hat tricks. Okay,
yeah.
That's
No.
exaggeration,
I know what you mean, though.
It's everything. And so we've kind of been riding the top guys hard because there's so much expectation around what they're supposed to be doing because of what we know they're capable of. Kind of like the power play. We know it's capable of being better. But there's more to give in Colorado's depth too. And I'm not speaking from the super critical place. It just sort of points to a team that is still trying to lick their wounds and get healthy. And they're inching closer to it, but they've just gotten Ross Colton back. They're still missing Josh Manson, who should hopefully return soon. This is still kind of a depleted lineup. And you look at the bottom 6 and it's not complete. There's a lot of guys stepping up, and I'm so proud of that effort, but this still isn't the complete Avs lineup, and the top guys do need support for nights like tonight. It's not to give them an excuse.
No.
I'm looking at them very closely come the Anaheim game. It's like my scrutiny has only been delayed.
Well, right. And yeah, you didn't get I think the point you're making is your top guys didn't get punked tonight, It wasn't like Quinn Hughes and JT Miller. Right. Just ran away with this game and made the Avs top guys. No, it was all just kind of neutral. And then, the Vancouver depth guys found a way to contribute. It'd been nice to get some of that, given that you do get a Val Nichushkin goal. Consider that top of the lineup production. Given that you do get that goal from Val, it would have been nice for them to get some of that depth scoring in there as well. I think that's it. You got anything else?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure.
All right. I think that's going to do it for tonight. Big thank you again to our friends over at Trusted American Mortgage. Check them out, trustedamerican.com. Scan the QR code up there. Please, guys, it helps us out a lot. Like, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts, as well as here on YouTube. All these audio-only shows go up right after the pod, so you can check them out there if you weren't able to catch the whole thing live. Big thanks to Jay, late night in the studio here. What is it?
Thanks for watching. That's so nice.
Thanks for watching, y'all. The classic way that Jay...
He just says y'all all the time.
Classic Dutch Jay with the y'alls. But I do love it. He's one of us. One of us. Megan, thanks so much. We'll be back at it tomorrow. We may have Chloe on the podcast. Who knows? Who knows who will be around? But we will be back later this week. I'll be in San Jose. Fun event coming up on Thursday here for Guerilla Sports. And don't forget, we'll be up at 7 Brew on Saturday for a live pod. Make sure to stop by and check it out. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out. Go get some sleep. Avs drop this one 3-1. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody.